Hey everybody, it's the Rain Man. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there. This is a raindrop on Sunday, June 21st, Father's Day. And with me is a special guest, my father, John, who is talking to me from the East Coast right now. So before we get going, happy Father's Day, Dad. How you doing?
Fine. I'm doing fine.
Good, good. So I tell you what, let's do this. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about kind of growing up and maybe when you were younger, what your thoughts were about down the road when you were eventually to have a family of your own. Kind of what was that like when you were growing up, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Growing up in Buffalo, New York, in a neighborhood where most of the people were European immigrants. And I'm first generation American, and all my neighborhood kids I went to school with were all first generation Americans. And we were born in the early 30s and mid 30s when the war was coming along in Europe. Most people in their homes spoke 2 or 3 languages in addition to English. Family was very important. Sometimes I think the mothers were the primary people in the home in those days. The fathers got all the work, and a lot of times, especially during the Depression years, a lot of people were out of work. And one of the cute things I can remember is that they drank a lot back in my days. One of my best friends and we used to go and fill up his dad's stainless steel pot at the bar and go around the bar, and a bartender would give it to us. In fact, he'd give us a little shot of beer. And the other thing around the neighborhood was it was so confined, so nice. So a neighborhood, they helped each other. There's something that you don't see much today. We had a patrolman, a policeman down around by our school, who knew all the kids in school and knew if you were getting into trouble and knew if you're not. And you didn't pass up that guy. You know, you're gonna get him too mad. But anyway, I thought, because we always liked kids. When my sister Dorothy had her girls, I loved it. I mean, I loved taking care of them, and I even changed their diapers, and I love that kind of deal. So I look forward, not really knowing anything, but I look to it as looking forward to the future of it.
Nice, nice. And so kind of fast forward then. So you go to college, you join the Navy, and then so when did you get married? How old were you when you got married?
I got married in 1963, so I was 31.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you and your mom basically, so just out there, so I'm the middle of 5 siblings. So
Yeah.
we have a large family, and they had my older sister pretty much immediately after they got married. So obviously huge changes in your life. You go from being a bachelor in the Navy to getting married to having a kid. Did anybody give you any fatherly advice at that point, or were you guys just
No, we did. No, not really. I don't think I needed any fatherly advice. I can remember Denise being the first one. God, I couldn't wait to get home to hold her and help mom with taking care of her. And when all you other kids came along, it was the same way. I mean, you're all individuals, and I thoroughly enjoyed you. Tommy came right shortly after Denise, and I can remember him getting a bat in his hand and a ball in his hand out in Illinois, and him batting the ball out of the yard. You know, he would play on the street, and all the bigger kids would want him to be on his team, and it was such an exciting thing to see the kids growing up on that.
And
yourself too. You know, with Pee Wee League and Pop Warner football, all that. That's one of the things. You know, Mom and I constantly look at families, and we say to us, it's so beautiful to have 5 good-looking kids, and of all healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy. Yeah. Giving us 10 grandkids is another nice thing. Yeah.
Nice. And and so when the grandkids started showing up, did you pass on any fatherly advice to my siblings, or just kind of let them?
No. You know, even, as you remember growing up, Ryan, I never really pushed you any direction. You always let you make your own decisions, and that's the same way with the other kids too. It was your mind to make up, your future to plan. And I felt the same way about the kids, being fathers. So yeah, maybe a little bit here and there, but not often.
Gotcha. And what about like right now, in the crazy times that we're living in right now, the only time that I can think of that this kind of reminds me of, and I've only learned about it in the history books, but like the late 60s, 68, 69, when it seemed like America was coming apart at the seams. So you and Mom raised us kind of in the 70s, and was there ever any of that kind of a feeling like, God, this world is crazy right now, and it's going to be really tough to be raising kids in this environment? Did that kind of ever go into your calculus on how you raised us?
Now it was in Vietnam. It was from 66 to 67, and that really was just the beginning from the young people voicing against Vietnam. And when I came back from Vietnam, I didn't have any problem wearing a uniform at all. But it's the guys that came after me that got the real brunt of it all.
Yeah. And then what about raising kids like in that environment, like in the 70s? You had all the stuff with the with the oil embargo and just all sorts of kind of international crises.
Well, you waited in the car with us when we got gasoline. We had to wait in line in 1973. You just sat in the car and waited.
Yeah. What about the kids? Right? What about the grandkids right now? Do you talk to them much about kind of what's going on out there, or do you ever have? Are they having those conversations and asking people like you, how you feel about it? Or
no, not really. I really haven't pressed them at all about that. But one of the main things I can always remember about you and your siblings were great trips we used to have down in Connecticut. Go down and meet our cousins, and then spend the weekends down there at Wellfleet with them. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And, living in a yard on the street here like in Acton, my God, with 20 or 25 kids and 7 dogs. I mean, it wasn't a dull moment. We now have maybe 2 or 3 kids on the street, as opposed to what it was before. Brian, you can't believe how beautiful it was when you guys were young.
Yeah, no, it was a great upbringing. Like you said, the extended family. Those are some very, very fond memories.
And the aunts.
Oh yeah. It's and eventually this will all come out to all of you out there in terms of RainMan'S take. But I just wanted to have a quick conversation with my father and wish him a happy Father's Day, and just kind of talk a little bit about what it was like when he was raising his kids. And so I appreciate the time, Dad. Just a quick raindrop to let everybody know about Father's Day.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much, and thank you for Father's Day. And you got to remember one thing: Mom and I always had a ball watching you kids at school, and sports, etc. It was, all the best.
Yeah.
You were our life.
Well, I love it. Thank you very much. I love you. And to all of my guy friends out there today that are fathers, happy Father's Day to you. And we'll finish off this raindrop by saying, if you're in the military, the police, the fire departments, or the first responders, if that is you out there, thank you very much for your service. Stay safe. Dad, thank you again. Love you. And this is the Rain Man.